City Talks with Reuben Abati.
Today, we'll be discussing the proposed state of emergency in Anambra State, or if you like, the state of affairs in Anambra State, where gubernatorial elections have been scheduled to hold on November 6th. And we have a special guest, a lawyer who understands, the legal dimensions, a writer also who can speak directly to the issues, and a civil rights activist, Dr. Kayode Ajulo. Abraham Olukayode Ajulo is a lawyer, a unionist, a tutor, writer, arbitrator, notary public, and civil rights activist. He is the principal partner of Kayode Ajulo & Co., Castle of Law, a full commercial law firm in Abuja with contacts in Lagos, Akure, Kaduna, Jos, Ibadan, Enugu, London, Cardiff, Kumasi, and Bangui. He is also the founder chairman of the Egalitarian Mission Africa, a non-governmental and non-profit making organization for the promotion of the rule of law and social and economic equality in Africa. A law graduate of the University of Jos, he was called to the Nigerian bar in 2001. He also obtained his Master of Laws degree, LLM, in 2006, and a PhD also in law, corporate social responsibility, and social justice. Ajulo is a member of several notable organizations, including Avant-Garde International, International Association of Human Rights Lawyers, Nigerian Red Cross, the Nigerian Institute of Management, the Nigerian Bar Association, the International Bar Association IBA, and the Chartered Institute of Arbitrators in the United Kingdom. He's also an adjunct visiting lecturer at Adekunle Ajasin University, Akumba Akoko, Ondo State, and Egalitarian Basic Studies Institute, Kumasi, Ghana. A respected voice in local and international media, as he has been very active in advocacy campaigns for global good governance and democracy. He's also one of the leading voices against corruption, nepotism, and injustice. Appointed board chairman of Ondo State Radio Vision Corporation, Nigeria, from 2013 to 2015 by the Ondo State government of Nigeria. He has also served in other capacities as the National Secretary, Chief Administrative Officer of the 4th Convention of the Labour Party, and currently he is the Diocesan Registrar of the Church of Nigeria, Anglican Communion, Akoko Diocese. Okay, that's the very interesting profile of our guest today on this program. And if you want to be part of this conversation, you can call us on 0700-151-1051. You can also leave comments on WhatsApp 090-991-64403 and on our social media account at City1051 on Zoom and Facebook. Kayode Ajulo, thank you very much for joining us.
Yes, good, my pleasure. Good afternoon.
Thank you very much. Well, quickly, let's take a look at what is happening in Anambra. There have been reports of, challenges with regard to security in that state. And just a few days ago, this week, the Attorney General of the Federation, Abubakar Malami SAN, was quoted as saying that the government is considering the option of declaring a state of emergency in Anambra State within the purview of Section 305 of the Constitution. Now, there's been a rebuttal. There's been a pushback. First from the governor of Anambra State, Willie Obiano, who more or less dismissed the Attorney General as a liar because he said the president never said there should be a state of emergency in Anambra. And Ohaneze Ndigbo, Afenifere and other groups have also said they do not think that the situation is ripe for a state of emergency in Anambra State, whatever the difficulties may be. What's your take? What do you think?
Well, thank you very much. Let me start by saying that the situation in Anambra, that is the southeast of Nigeria, not only in that place, in the north, that's the northeast, northwest, and even north central, is unfortunate situation recently. It is something that no nation, no community prays for. And based on this, one need to condemn in totality this security situation there. Then going towards the Attorney General of the Federation, that is the Abubakar Malani said, he mentioned that the government is considering. Yes, it may be that his advisor has been sought, being the chief legal officer of the Federation, to see the legality of the president declaring state of emergency in Anambra State, particularly when you look at this with the pending the election that is coming, that will soon take place in the state. Yes, he may, one way or the other, come up with that. But I'm very sure that the legality of it is not even the issue. What I think is concerned, that everybody is so concerned about today, is the politicalization of the issue of the state of emergency. Because the truth must be told, Nigeria is, whether we like it or not, Nigeria is at war, particularly some part of the nation is at war. And declaring state of emergency is very imperative. But I know, I've listened to what the governor of Anambra said and what the Ohaneze Indigo have said. Nobody seems to be looking at the legality of it and the politics of it. And I sympathize with them and I appreciate their sentiment, particularly in the sense that Anambra State is not the only state in the Federation where we are having these security challenges. The question today now is, why should it be in Anambra? Why not in Katsina? Why not in Yobe? Why not in Borno? Why not in Benue and all the other places? And I think, and that is one of the things we have been saying for long, that there must be a time for politics and there must be a time for principle. The principle of it is to look at what the law says and what is to be applied. But in a situation that the law itself, when it comes to application of the law, seem to be given political coloration, we always find ourselves in this situation. I agree with the Ohaneze Indigo and the governor by saying that why should you be in Anambra, why other states? And even that we have a strong institution, that is why we've been agitating, we've been promoting strong institution. In a situation that if Nigeria is a country founded in which we have strong institution, in which whosoever that is involved, the side, the tribe, or the region, or the zone that is involved, the law will be respecter of nobody, and the law is applied the way it should be. We will not be in this situation. If, as there the situation in Yobe, in Borno, is state of emergency has not been declared, then why should it be Anambra, even if everybody is dying in Anambra? And I think that is what I'm more concerned about. But first, I will appreciate if I'm allowed to interrogate a little the law itself of the state of emergency. As it is one of the state sovereignty in which the section of the law is so clear in when the state can declare state of emergency. And that's why when you check sections 305 of the Constitution, it makes the situation where state of emergency could be declared. But one important thing we have to know again, and this is one of the things I think the drafter of the Constitution need to look at, it places this declaration of state of emergency on the discretion of the president, and that is why the word may is used. And anywhere in the law where may is used, you know that it is either it is or not, and that comes with the discretion. I think that in the situation it is shall, that when you have this situation, immediately the president should declare. It will have been another thing entirely. But in this one, it has given the president discretion. It's expected that president, being the president, having sworn the 2 oaths before taking the office as the president, commander-in-chief of Nigerian Armed Forces, 1 oath of allegiance and oath of office, in which he said that we do justice to all manner of men without any fear of favor, without thinking of the ethnicity background, or without what favors him or not. It is expected that he should have declared state of emergency as at when due. But if in some instances it has not been done, I think those who are complaining and those who are raising the hues and cries that why should it be their turn? The state of emergency should be declared. I want to believe that.
Hello, are you with me? Hello, Dr. Ajulo. Hello, Dr. Ajulo, can you hear me?
They should be listened to. Anambra is just so it's of the former minister. Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. Well, I was going to ask you this point about playing politics with state of emergency. Obviously, one of the conditions under Section 305 is that the state governor, as chief security officer of the state, and the House of Assembly can make a direct request. Now, that has not happened. Some people insist that there is no, situation of war in Anambra State. Others may well disagree. But is it possible that the Attorney General of the Federation will take a position on Section 305 that has not been previously discussed with the President? Can the Attorney General of the Federation, who is the chief law officer of the Federation, be accused, as the governor of Anambra is trying to suggest, of playing politics?
Well, one thing we have to, when it comes to declaration of state of emergency, it lies with just only one person and one person alone, and that is the President, Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces. In the entire section, in the entire paragraph, the terms and conditions as written by the provision of that Constitution, it has nothing to do with the Attorney General of Federation. And that is why some of us are lost and to ask why, how come the Attorney General should get himself involved in this issue of state of emergency. Nevertheless, we cannot rule out the fact that the President may have approached the Attorney General to advise him on the legality or whether he can declare state of emergency. But I believe this one should be channel of communication, should be within the realms of our channel of communication, a secret confidential communication that should be between the President and the Attorney General of the Federation, being the chief law officer. I believe this is what should be for the Attorney General to come to the full glare and in public to now raise the issue that is confidential, because security matter is confidential. Because what Attorney General did now is akin to a situation that anytime there is security meeting in which Attorney General of Federation is always a member, should at all times be revealing this to the whole world. I think that is something wrong there. I want to believe that there is always a yellow line which should not be crossed. And I'm afraid Attorney General is crossing that yellow line, in which I think the confidentiality of his principal needs to be maintained at all times. Even if, of course, the President, I'm very sure, will certainly approach him to advise, the advice should lie between the President and the Attorney General, not that it's something that should now turn to a full public discourse as it is. And I believe that is an infraction there, which should not be. But to what you ask, that the governor of the state need to make that, because by the time you look at that section 305, state of emergency absolutely lies with the power of the President, but that one is within the Federation. That is where the Federation is at war. But other subsection of that section of that provision is where it can be declared in the state. And what it says is that the state governor should initiate it with the concurrency of the state legislator. But there's another caveat there. In a situation where the state governor refuses to do the needful by approaching the President to say, declare state of emergency in my place, the President has the power, has the latitude, the authority to define, to declare it. But the question here is this: when can we now say that the President has satisfied himself that the state governor has not approached him or sleep, or can we say his negligence is doing what is right at all times? That is where the issue lies. That I think that's where the doctrine of reasonability, that is the belief in reasonability of that request, will be applied. And what is this doctrine about? To see if actually to every common man, to everybody that can see that this is that doctrine of belief, to believe that yes, that reasonability to believe that there is a need for state of emergency, that the condition exists in where it is declared. And I must be sincere, with my little knowledge, I think it's imperative that the state needs that declaration of emergency. In Anambra today, there's something called unknown gunmen, killing both the rich, both the poor, both the old, both the young. Sometimes they go. Most of the institution, agency of government, law enforcement agencies, left and right, the police, the extra state authority, these are symbols of authority being attacked. That executive, both the governor and the president, need to do something about that. Now, I think we have left the realm of politics of it, but to now look at the what to be believed, that is whether it is reasonable. In my own opinion, I want to believe that it is reasonable, it is imperative, it is needful for the security of the entire country.
Okay, well, the reasonability test, I guess the measurement will be what is believed by right-thinking members of society. But in any case, let me ask you, are there other options available to government? INEC says, yes, it is ready, but government has to do something about the security situation in Anambra, where, as you have pointed out, unknown gunmen are, all over the place. And many of the cases of violence that we have had remain unresolved, remain mysterious. What other options do you think is possible? And even if when a state of emergency is declared, does it necessarily should lead, or does it necessarily lead to the removal of the governor? Because the governor may be trying to protect his own seat. And I've read some opinions saying that no, in a state of emergency, you don't need to remove the presiding governor.
I think it's so clear that whosoever I've listened, I've read, I've done the research on the state of emergency. I've read what several writers and researchers have said about the state of emergency. One of the things that is so clear, immediately state of emergency is declared, is that some part of the constitution has to put in abeyance. I don't want to tell you that it has to be removed, it has to be relaxed. Relaxed in the sense that one of it is that section, is that fourth part of the constitution that talks of fundamental rights. And once state of emergency is declared, that fundamental rights seems reasonably, let me use the word, seem to be silenced. And what is basic of fundamental right? It is part of the issue of choices, for individual choices, freedom and co. And mind you, I will not be one to canvass that the governor needs to be removed. But when choices are stifled, the governor derives his power to rule by people exercising their choice to make him. And the situation where we have state of emergency, that one of the casualty of that state of emergency is some basic right, fundamental right of choices of freedom of expression. And that's why you can see Obasanjo did that. That's President Obasanjo did that during his era by removing some governor. But one thing that is so clear is that the Constitution made it so clear that state of emergency can only last for maximum six months. And I think it has taken the fact that whatever it is, even if the governor is removed today, within the 6 months, because it's expected, it's another reasonably said that no matter the issue, within 6 months, it ought to have been cleared and the situation return back to normal. And if that's what it is. But I'm not the governor, because I'm not the president. The president has to draft the proclamation. It is through the proclamation that certain conditions and certain things that will happen when the state of emergency will be. And I want to believe that this one lies with the president to know which one to go and which one to go. But what matters most is the security, is the safety of the people and the welfare of the people.
Okay, still on the situation in Anambra, Ohaneze Ndigbo is accusing external middlemen. I don't know what that phrase means. Maybe some fifth columnists from outside the state are the ones responsible for the, violence in the southeast. Do you think that that is the case?
Well, honestly, I won't like to join issue with Ohaneze Ndigbo in this issue. I see myself as just an onlooker in the scheme of things, and as far as I'm concerned, whatsoever may be called who is middleman or not, but one thing that is so clear is that what is happening in Anambra is the same thing that is happening in some southeastern part of the country, in which some group, that's IPOB, led by Nnamdi Kanu, who is presently in government detention facility, that there is a need to render the country, that is the area, ungovernable. And the boast and the scheme of rendering the area ungovernable is where who knows? The Ndigbo has already labeled IPOB as the middleman. We may not know, but what matters most is the situation is Anambra is man-made. It is made by men. It is not a natural disaster that's as we take it. It is this as a result of a strive and a sort of a calculated attempt by some group of people to render some certain area ungovernable. That one cannot be denied, irrespective of the name that it is called. That is the situation, and we have to situate things the way it is.
Okay, what's the role of institutions in all of this? INEC is an institution. He says it is ready. He's been doing some audit. He's discovered cases of double registration. INEC is asking for security. He's asking for support to ensure that all these, assets that have been destroyed in previous attacks on INEC facilities in Anambra State are, taken care of and restored, replaced. At the same time, you have the police. The Nigerian police, do you think they can ensure security on November 6th? Some of the candidates have even abandoned Anambra State. And if, IPOB or any other group comes up and says nobody should go out to vote, then what happens? Hello? Hello, Dr. Ajulo, are you with me? Hello? Hello? We seem to have lost Dr. Ajulo there, but did you hear me? If you can hear me, I'd like to have your take on that last question. Hello? Okay, we seem to have lost a connection with him. Dr. Ajulo, are you back? I can see you on the screen.
Yes, I think you are breaking. I can't really hear you properly. Maybe you can come up with a question again.
No, I just said, look, what's the role of institutions in this? The police, INEC.
Yeah, the role of institution, I remember as a law student then at the university and at law school, we were being told every time that the law must take its course, even if the heaven must fall. And one of the reasons that heaven has not been falling is because we have these institutions as pillar to hold the heaven from falling on us. And I believe this institution are the institution that we can see today that's come from the institution of government, both traditional, religious, and whatever it is. But I believe the institution you are asking is in the context of the rules of the INEC, because the election is about to take place in Anambra, and the role of the police, that is to provide the security, rules of the army, and rules of virtually all the law enforcement agency. And I think INEC has come out fully to say that they are ready.
Hello? Well, we seem to be having network issues getting across to Dr. Ajulo. Dr. Ajulo, I hope it's not raining at your end out there in Abuja, because the sky is bright here in Lagos. But in any case, we'll try to see if we can re-establish connection with you. But if you're hearing me, somebody is already asking a question. Now, what do you think of the seeming opportunistic defection of legislators at the state and federal houses from ABGA to the APC? Because recently there was a massive defection of, our politicians in Anambra State from ABGA, the ruling government in that state, to the APC. But while we're waiting for Dr. Ajulo to re-establish connection with us, maybe we just take a quick break, and then we'll be right back.
City Talks with Reuben Abati.
Maybe you can block incoming calls for the next few minutes we have, so that there will be no interference. But quickly.
That one has been done earlier.
Yes.
I think it has to do with the network.
Okay. You were talking about institutions, and you were already talking about...
Yes, so what I'm saying is that when it comes to superintending the election, apart from the INEC, we still need the other institutions like the security, like the army, like the police, and all that. And what matters most is to know how prepared are they to conduct this election. But I want to be there anyway. I may not know the kind the intelligence report that is in their disposal. It is left for them to know and to advise the president commander-in-chief on how to go about to have a very smooth, fair election, credible election in Anambra with the current security situation in the state.
Okay, while we lost that connection, I saw someone on, it's Professor Kemi Rotimi here. He says, how does Dr. Ajulo view the seeming opportunistic defection of legislators from ABGA to APC at both the state level and the federal level? And, that's just his question, basically.
Sorry, can you come with a question again? Please, can you come with a question?
Well, I have here on the screen, how does Dr. Ajulo view the seeming opportunistic defection of lawmakers at the state and federal houses from ABGA to the APC? Professor Kemi Rotimi.
Well, I thank you very much. I may not know what the underhand days that went on before they can go with that. But I know that it's just unfortunate, and that's one of the reasons why we always believe that the law has to take its course at all times, irrespective of who is involved. The Nigerian Constitution is so clear as of when a legislator can defect or move to another party, and it's so clear that once that one is done, it's for them to lose their seat. But unfortunately, with Nigerian system, that one has not been able to happen. And I believe this is the fallout of such situation where legislator can change party at will, regardless of the fact that the grand norm, the law of the land, that's the number one law, the Fontus Origo of Nigeria did not allow such a thing. And this is a fire fallout. It is not the issue of law now. Is the issue of continuous violation of our provision of our constitution, and that is why such shenanigans can take place.
Okay, Dr. Ajulo, before we open up the lines for others to be part of this conversation, just two quick issues I'd like to bring up with you. The first one has to do with Anambra State, and this is the arrest in Onitsha the other day of Chiwintalu Agu, the actor, on the grounds that he was accused of incitement of people to violence for donning a costume that was said to be, promoting the Biafran cause. And he was arrested by the Nigerian army. We were told, according to reports in the papers, that he was released yesterday, and that subsequently the Department of State Services again, arrested him. Is the wearing of a particular costume an offense under Nigerian law, and within the purview specifically of Section 36 of the Constitution?
Well, thank you, Dr. Abati. I think care has to be taken, particularly on my own side, not to use this forum or platform to constitute myself as a court of law, so to speak, in this issue. That is to know whether what the actor did is right or wrong. But I think I need to say this, that I think one has to condemn in totality the actions of the Nigerian army, if actually they have been certified to belong to that organization, of the way and manner the actor was arrested, dragged, and taken into custody and later released. I believe I've checked the act that establishes the Nigerian army and any of the enabling law to find out where one can situate what they did, as seen in the video being trending online. It is very quite wrong. The duty of the army is so clear. And even though one can hide under the Administration of Criminal Justice Act, which gives citizens power to make arrests, but when such is done, immediately this is such arrest, and whosoever that is arrested should be turned to the police or police officer or police station. But in the situation, the army, because thinking that they have that power, they have the coercive force, they have the control of it, to now take law into their hand to make arrest of a civilian on the road is uncalled for. Now, to your question about whether a costume or not may not be, I will situate my answer in the sense that I will not attempt to pass judgment on who is right or wrong in that. All I think I need to do is, what happened may not be unconnected with the fact that sometimes ago, the president made a declaration in which IPOB, that indigenous people of Biafra, was proscribed. The proscription order was gazetted. Then after the gazette, the Attorney General of Federation got an order, again from the Federal High Court in Abuja, where the total proscription of the IPOB took place. And the prescription has some effect in the sense that whosoever that tried to show any identification with the group will remain liable, in which makes such person a suspect. And that identification is defined in various ways. Either you are promoting the group, you are supporting the group, even to the point of their attire, their insignias, their color, whatsoever it is. And I want to believe that maybe it is within that we can situate what happened. Though the man has come up to say he is just wearing a costume, but it is being, I think everything remained in suspicion level, and until it can be proved before the court of law of competent jurisdiction of what transpired, I think we can just be on the speculative mode in trying to see this is what happened or not. But in a sense, the Terrorism Prevention Act, the Proscription Act order has been so clear on who remain a suspect. Like I said, as it is, he remain a suspect until it's proven, until it's brought before the court to lay the foundation and bring the particulars of what it is. But I think, and again, we should not be oblivious of the situation in Anambra. If such thing is won somewhere in the United Kingdom, where they have different decisions to what it is, I'm sure nobody will raise any brow. But with all the happenings, we are talking of circumstantially as it is. It may make him a suspect. But even like I said, despite that he remains a suspect, the way he's being treated, the way his case is being handled is what that should be condemned in totality.
Okay, well, before we get others to join us quickly, there was a case you've been handling, I think, since 2017, which has to do with a young man, one 17-year-old man, Ajulo, who was accused of being involved in the theft of a phone, and he was sentenced to death by hanging for stealing a phone, and you took that up pro bono. The Court of Appeal, sitting in Ado-Ekiti, has now vacated that ruling of the lower court, and Bamiteko is now a free person. Do you want to share with us very briefly what the issues are and why this is important for fundamental human rights enforcement?
Let me start from the point that I would gladly and heartily will share some of what happened there with you, particularly not on what transpired in court, which we may get to, but the significance of this to me and to the instrumental and to the application of law in all things. It is today, most of what we're reading is how the killings going on in Nigeria, left and right. And to now seeing that in a situation where the instrumentality of the law has been applied, in which someone has been sentenced to death by hanging, and for another instrumentality of the law, another legal process has freed that one, I think is huge for Nigeria. And I think one need to salute our judicial system and administration. And I think that is another thing that wants me want to be elated to believe that I think though hope may be lost, but there is still hope. Our legal system is working, and we need to commend the justices, and particularly the laws of the Court of Appeal, for doing justice in that case. And I think I need not to stop there, because within these few years that I've been engaged in that matter, I think many things has come to fall light to me that I keep on wondering, and maybe that we may use this platform to start the campaign that there must be eradication of execution, that is killing, let me use that word, in our climate.
So like the death penalty.
Yeah, death penalty. I think we have to put pay to it. A lot of people, because Abati allegedly committed the crime in Abati, but immediately was sentenced because the prison yard in Adwekiti is not a maximum correctional center. He was moved to Lagos, that is condemned criminal cell. And anytime we spoke, each time I called him, he would let you know that you won't be there. He's even afraid, because anytime they call you from condemned criminal cell, it's as if it's either you come to collect food or maybe that is the end, because once you leave, you may not return. You can even, it got to a point that I'm even afraid to call him, because I know you can know his state of mind. And I think this killing, I want to use the word killing because that's the only way to express it. We need to stop it. Our system needs to stop it. And I think I vowed that in the next couple of days, I will try to get across to all those in authority to see how we can stop it. It is not in all the countries. We have been trying to emulate their economy has been going quite well. They've stopped all this killing, and I think we need to stop that in Nigeria. I think that is the basic thing. And again, one need to really thank the social media, because I may not know about Bamiteko until I read it on social media that a teenager is about to be killed by hanging, ordered by court because of issue of phone. Though by the time you get into the case, you realize that it is alleged that it is robbery, armed robbery, and the penalty for armed robbery is killing. But that one is what makes us to jump into it. And we'll find out another thing that it is crime to be poor in Nigeria, because I know that if the poor lad is well-to-do, he wouldn't have been sentenced from the little I've seen in that matter, because they were able to. One of his co-accused was released along the line, claiming that the boy is young, whereas they are of the same age bracket, and that is even what got me interested. But when I saw the record of appeal, I realized that you are looking for iron and you saw diamond. I even noticed that there are a lot of grounds in which his conviction can be obtained, and that's what we use. And finally, we're happy. Our heart is singing that justice has been done in the matter.
Well, congratulations to your law firm also.
Thank you.
But isn't this the irony about Nigeria? Death penalty for petty theft of a phone in which no murder was involved, and yet kidnappers and rapists, are walking free in many parts of the country. But let's, throw open our lines now. If you want to be part of this conversation, you can call us on 0700-1051-1051 or on WhatsApp 090991644 And you can send in messages on social media accounts at City 1051 on Zoom and Facebook. So, do we have a caller on the line? Hello? And our guest is still Dr. Kayode Ajulo, writer, lawyer, civil rights activist. Well, looks like we have a caller on the line. Hello, your name, your location, and please keep it brief. Hello?
Hello?
Yes, good afternoon. Thank you for joining us.
Hello?
Please go ahead. I can hear you. And Dr. Ajulo can hear you too. Okay, connection problem there again. Do we have another caller on the line? Dr. Ajulo is still here and is ready to respond to your observations.
Hello?
Yes, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Please go ahead.
Maybe from Congo. Yeah, I want to ask my brother there, Ajulo, that why is it difficult for the federal government to unmask this unknown gunmen? Because I remember I want to draw his attention back to the days of Abati, when they were saying Nadeko was one doing the killings and all. They come back and the for they were calling them unknown government. So why would the government not unmask these people? Thank you.
Okay, Dr. Ajulo, you heard him. Hello? Hello, Dr. Ajulo, did you hear him?
Yes, I will appreciate if you can just help me to barely hear what he's saying.
Yeah, he was asking you, why is it so difficult for the Nigerian government to unmask these unknown gunmen, as they are otherwise described?
Well, I'm not within the circle of the security committee or those. I may not be. The question as asked is one of the things that's been agitating myself, because one of the characteristic of statehood of a government is to have monopoly on use of violence. But it seemed to be the different thing in Nigeria today. Today, you will be hearing of unknown government, the Boko Haram, and whatever it is. We seem to have non-state actors. And it seemed to be that the non-state actors seem to be overriding and overawing the government. And I think it shouldn't be, because for any government for that matter, one of the indices is to say, I have monopoly on violence. But unfortunately, the different is the case. And I think the government should at all time strive to maintain their ground and to show the sovereignty. Sovereignty of any government is to ensure that no group can overrun such government. And I think that is what Nigerian government need to do now, to come up and to deal with whosoever that is causing insecurity, causing strife and fear in the polity. Thank you.
Okay, do we have another caller there? Yes, please go ahead. Hello? Yes, please, your name, your location, and your comment or observation.
Hello?
Please go ahead, I can hear you.
Yeah, Dr. Reuben, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
And good afternoon to your guest.
Thank you.
Yes. Did you remember what happened in Sudan while al-Bashir was declared wanted? It was al-Bashir who promoted and armed the Janjaweed against his own people of southern Sudan. And he pretended he didn't know what was going on. It was after investigation and rigorous interviews that the whole world came to know that al-Bashir was behind the killings in his own country. Today, the rest is history. Reuben, you remember that the president told us that these people that are disturbing Nigeria came from Libya. But he didn't tell us who opened our borders for them to come in. A National Assembly member from Katsina said he went there when Buhari closed the border. So he went to the border between Nigeria and Niger, and what he saw baffled him. that people were coming in droves with all manner of things, guns, holding guns openly, coming into the country, and our customs were there. Nobody has told us how these people entered Nigeria, and why haven't the president made a pronouncement against these people? The governor of Kaduna told us how he went to go and pay them to stop killing Nigerians. A governor in Nigeria said he went to go and pay money to some people to stop coming to kill Nigerians. Nobody did anything. And people that are just agitating for self-determination, that is where Buhari have concentrated. We want to declare state of emergency. Why we are pointing out this thing is that at the end of the day, the whole world will ask Buhari questions. The level of militarization in the party is so annoying. Reuben, you remember that the most secure part of Imo State was invaded some time ago, where you have the prison, the police headquarters, the army headquarters, DSS, even the governor's office was invaded, and they operated for 3 hours. Nobody was arrested among those people. Nobody. How can you claim it is IPOB? Hope Uzodinma told the whole world that 400 of the people that are doing this in Imo State have been arrested, and they are not from the parties, and they are not Igbos. Hope Uzodinma, their Supreme Court governor. Yes, the Nigerian government have not said anything about this. The question now people should be asking Buhari, who is this person in the southeast? Who did IPOB become a terrorist group? If he cannot answer that question, let him continue to kill Igbos until he finishes all of them. They come and tell us that we are terrorists.
Well, thank you very much. Dr. Ajulo, would you like to respond to some of the points he raised? Basically, he's blaming the president. And, I'm sure...
I'm afraid I may not be in a better position to respond to some of it, because as a lawyer, I deal with facts, not speculation. And again, and where you even one must deal with speculation, it has to be run through the circumstantial evidence that it is. As it is, I would not want to use this platform to blame whatsoever organization for what happened in Anambra or the East, but it's so obvious the beginning how the whole thing turned out to be. There was a time some group talks about stay-at-home order and saying those that refuse to stay at home has to be eliminated. And if today some people are being eliminated, remember my good friend, political associate Gulak was killed around the area. Akinyuli's husband was killed around the area. Some of our friend, colleagues, lawyers were killed around the areas. And recently, one of the MBA leaders from Lagos, who happened to come from Anambra, had a face-to-face, a near-death encounter. I listened to him when he narrated his experience in the hands of the unknown governments. And this man narrated his own story. But the speculation of who brought who in, whether I think we should just leave it at the realm of speculation. No matter how palatable, how sweet it can sound in some of our ears. And I think we need to face the issue. The issue here is circumstantially, some boasts have been made, and things are happening, killing is going on, and those who are targeted is so clear that it is basically against the state, not the other way around. And I think we can't deceive ourselves about that. Thank you very much.
Okay, we'll take at least one more call. Do we have someone out there on the line? I thought I saw the board up. Okay, yes. Hello? Please, could you turn down the volume of your radio so that we can hear you clearly in the studio? Hello? Okay, we lost that. Well, Dr. Ajulo, let me ask you. What are your projections? Hello?
Hello?
Okay, you are now with us. Yes, please go ahead. Your name?
Yeah, I'm Moses from Isono. It's rather unfortunate that we just speculate and insinuate what is not true. What is there to be proud of about IPOB? Are they a noble group? What do they do that some sympathizers that won't even go out to vote and they say boldly that they don't vote will still come on air and start saying all manner of things? The truth is, as Dr. Ajulo said, it is within the president's power to declare an emergency at any point, and when it deems fit, that's why it's see. So this false equivalence that we always bring up, and why didn't he do it in Borno or he didn't do it, it's all Bangladesh. We know that these ones don't mean well. They want the country destroyed. We know what their detail leader said over the air, and man, they keep inspiring them. They go about killing, destroying state parastatals, destroying politicians, kill people. And these are the people somebody is sympathetic towards. Let the Lord take his due course. This is no sentiment. If he declares the state of emergency there, it is within his powers. We can't sit down here and pontificate why the country will burn down because of who? Nobody is superior. That is the truth. And as regards I agree with Dr. Ajulo concerning the man that was taken away from death row, from the appeal court. But truth is, I am a staunch believer in the death penalty. Once it has been confirmed beyond reasonable doubt, maybe High Court, then from High Court to Appellate Court, Supreme Court, once it's confirmed, whoever kills should be killed. This story of it does not stop someone from doing such. The person concerned, you're about to say, whoever has done what is wrong, killing innocent souls, and it's been confirmed that you committed this evil, you should be killed. We should not export everything from the West. They are perverse already. There was a time they supported many things. Today they are against it. So we shouldn't just follow them anyhow. Lastly, I commend the work is being done there, but let it be known there is nothing to be proud of about what IPOB. I have friends that trade all over the East, all over the nation. Their business is being paralyzed now for a crime they've not committed, just because some people sit somewhere and say they should sit at home. And they fear for their lives. We will do the same to them here in Lagos or in another western part of Nigeria or another part. They should be considerate. So if the president decides to declare a state of emergency in a bellicose place, please they want to destroy the nation, let him go ahead. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much. Dr. Ajulo, you heard him.
Well, thank you very much, madam. Thank you for your kind words for me. But I think we have to get one thing clear. When we talk of this unknown government and the state of emergency in the Southeast, I'm sure Dr. Abati, it would interest you that the beginning of the issue of the strife in Southeast, one of the first group that raised alarm about the activities of some people in Southeast were even the 5 state governors, in which they came together and made a declaration. And they mentioned that they acted in the overall interest of the people of the Southeast. And that is how it started before the president moved ahead to make that proclamation. So if today some are saying, and anyway, it is all about issue of interest and where the interests lie. But one thing that stands today is there is the play with, we are a state of war in the Southeast. Something drastic has to be done. How it has to be done, I think we can only provide solution. What matters most is are those in authority to do what it is. Then to this issue of death sentence, all over the world, even I can easily with my 10 fingers count the number of countries where this issue of death sentence is still being practiced. I want to believe that Nigeria will look forward to be great like every other country where things work, where there is security. In United Kingdom, in United States, in many other countries, this issue of the death sentence is being eradicated. And I don't receive the reason why it should not be. And if we are going to say that because of the death sentence, that one has been deterring people from committing crime, I will say capital no. By the time you check the number, I remember we came as a young man seeing the firing square left and right, and particularly the bar beach when we were young. Can we say that one deter robbers from still doing what they know how best to do? But what matters most is how things can be reduced in a way that's acceptable for. And I think that's what it is. But again, and another thing we need to know is that this issue of death sentence, you find out that those who have really faced it are those I want to believe. That's why I said something some minutes ago. I said poverty always seems to be a crime in Nigeria. If you check the statistic, of those who have find themselves this are those who have not. The likes of those that steal a whole country, that take the entire the entirety of the commonwealth of the nation, nothing ever happened to them. They never face this thing. How come those who have nothing, they are the ones that have been subjected to this religious glory system? And I think there must be a stop to it. Thank you.
Well, Dr. Ajulo, just before we go, well, it looks like there's going to be a very keen contest out there in Anambra State on November 6th. That is, if the elections are allowed to hold. What are your projections in terms of the state of play? INEC has already released the final list of candidates for that election. What's your projection? ABGA is the sitting, government in that place, the political party that is in charge. But there is likely also to be very strong contestation from other political parties. You have any projections, any predictions? I know you are a lawyer, not a prophet. But sometimes lawyers can also...
I'm not a prophet. Thank you very much. I'm not a prophet. I'm a lawyer. And there are some things that I tried. What you invited me to is a place I believe some angels even fear to dare the arena. But as long as you have already invited me, I'm very sure that the cover, the immunity you granted me to me. As it is today, I see this election being a clear contest between the PDP and APC. And I say this from the fact that ABGA should have been considered. But with the latest fortune, or I don't want to call it misfortune of ABGA, things seem to be going wrong. This is a place where the deputy governor of the party and the state has already moved to APC. This is a party where almost 10 elected members of representing the people, good people, and the bad people and the ugly people of Anambra State has already moved to APC, and Nnamdi Uba seems to be moving with the place, and is now to say. And again, one will have think of PDP making some things, but the internal problem in APC between the Valentine and the Senator Uba is another issue. But from what I can see, I think it is, I can't say that it's too close to call. It is obvious, I think, except, Nigeria will believe God so much. That is subject to the final say of the God, of the Almighty God. I think APC may have the day.
Names of 18 candidates in all of them male. That list has been released, and you have on it Charles Soludo of the ABGA, Valentine Ozipu for the PDP, and Uba of the All Progressive Congress, and Ifeanyi Uba of the Young Progressive Congress, and then the others. But of course, even on that list, if you look very closely, it looks like there is no woman there. I hope a day will come in Nigeria when a woman can confidently run for the position of governor and also position of president. But I'd like to thank you very much, Dr. Kayode Ajulo, for joining us today on City Talks with Reuben Abati at City 1051 FM. And I also like to thank all our listeners and those who called in and those who joined us on Zoom and Facebook and also on YouTube. Remember, the conversation does not end here. You can reach out to me on my social media account at Abati1990 on Instagram, and also at City1051 on all social media platforms. For those of you who tuned in late, well, you don't need to worry. You can visit the YouTube page City1051 to watch the entire show shortly. And don't forget to hit the subscribe button and leave comments. And don't forget also to tune in next week at noon for another exciting edition of City Talks. My name is Reuben Abati.
City Talks with Reuben Abati.